Hi, guys. Welcome back to the She Who Leads podcast. I'm Daniela Varga, and today I want to talk about an exciting topic that helped me so much, especially a few years before when I felt like super powerless and I felt like super out of control of my own life and also my own business. And the 4 points that I gathered for you in this episode will help you feel like you can get that power back. You can get control over your life back, control back over your life. Yeah. And whenever you feel stuck, these will help you realign yourself and basically help you step into your full power that you should be using every single day. And not just in your life, but also in your business. Because it's very easy to feel powerless in the business. It's very easy to feel like we are, I don't know, the victim of the algorithm. It's easy to feel like we have no power over getting clients, no power over how our content performs, who buys, who doesn't buy, how a solution works out. Like, it's just so many ways that we feel like we don't have uh, the power to direct our lives in the way that we want to, or in the direction that we want it to go, and especially the business. So this episode is specifically dedicated to help with that. So let's dive in. And how I constructed this episode is I want to bring you through the 4 ways that we actually give away our power without noticing it, because there are a lot of sneaky ways we do that. And you will understand how we are doing that to ourselves. And this episode is not to blame you in any way. Like, I want to start with that. This episode, whatever I say here, it's not to blaming you that you are not doing things good enough, or that you are, I don't know, you should be more critical with yourself. Like, that is the farthest from what I want you to get from this episode. I just want you to see some of the things that are maybe in your routine and maybe in how you are seeing yourself or seeing the world, that is making you, like, keeping you in the space of not being able to step into your full potential, right? So this is how this constructed. The first thing that we usually do that we don't even realize is taking away power from ourselves, is that when we are not making decisions and we let others make decisions for ourselves. And this is a tricky thing. And I've been here for a long time, feeling like I couldn't make decisions, feeling like if I made decisions, that would lead to something that would cost me a lot. And it also took me a long time to get out of this mindset. So I want to help you to get out quicker than it took me, because it's a very crucial part of how we live our lives. It doesn't seem as important. It seems like, yeah, like, of course I should make decisions, but in a sense, it is one of our biggest power that we don't even know that we have, the ability to choose, the ability to make a decision for ourselves, and the ability to follow through that decision. That is basically one of the key points, one of the few key points of manifestation. You using your power of free will, which is one of the biggest universal laws that is actually around in the universe. But when you're not making a decision, you are actually not using that law. You're not using the energetic law that is around us. You are the power that is in that law. You're giving it to others. And there are 2 versions how we usually do this. The first one is letting others decide for you. So in the business, this could look like you let clients pick a time to work with you, right? Like, for example, you're doing one-on-one sessions, you let client pick times, and then you accommodate yourself to the client schedule. That is one way you are giving away your power in the business. Or you giving away your power by making decisions, or not making decisions for yourself on what to talk about, but always looking for what other people talk about, or always looking for trendy topics, or always looking for the validation from clients. If you should talk about something, that's also you letting others decide for you. And this will instantly create resentment. I want to say not instantly, but like right after the decision is made, it will create the resentment because, first of all, it is stripping you away from freedom. Like subconsciously, you know that you are stripped away from your freedom because one of our basic needs is freedom. Like the soul really, really wants freedom. And when one of the keys to that is being aware that you have the ability to decide freely about your life, right? Like, but when you have other people decide for your life, then and following others' decisions, then you basically giving away a big, big, big chunk of your freedom. And when that happens, especially in the business, which a lot of the times, I want to say over 90% of the time, people do business, start a business because they want more freedom in their lives. Of course, they want more money, but if you ask them like on a day to day what they really want in their lives, they want freedom. They want freedom to make money how they want to make money. They want freedom to create the things that we want to create. They want freedom, like in their day to day schedule, to work when they want to work, to have rest when they want to rest, to travel, to not have to go to not ask anyone to go for a holiday, not ask anyone permission to go to the bank if they want to go to the bank during the day. So freedom is a big, big, big chunk of business. And when you let others decide for you in the business, however that looks like, I just gave you a few options here, then you will feel like, especially in a subconscious level, you will feel like you are stripped away from the very exact thing that you created the business for. And that will create resentment. And you won't be resentful for, like, if you're not aware of this dynamic, you will start to resent the business itself, because in your views, as you will see it, it will look like, oh, okay, so I actually created this business, but it is not giving me the freedom that I want. And you will resent the clients who ask for time slots that is actually not as good for you. You will resent the people who you followed for advice because it didn't really work out the way it would work out for you. You resent the teachers you learned from because you were forcing yourself for their schedule, for example, on how to do things. And that will all culminate in you resenting the business. And it's you will have the conclusion that, oh, so business is basically not for me because it's not giving me the thing that I wanted from the business, right? The freedom. But in reality, business is actually a very good thing for you. But what is missing is the deliberate decision making that you should do day to day in your business and also in your life to create the business that you actually want. That can only come from you yourself making the decisions. And the other version of this, of giving away the power with decisions, is when you are waiting for others for decide for you. That's a big one. I was for a long, 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 long time in this, and I was in this with previous jobs. I like for a long time I knew in my first job, especially, but also in my second job, like I knew for a long time that I didn't want to work at that place. I knew it for the first job. I knew for 2 years that I didn't want to work there, but I still waited for my boss to fire me. because I was just super afraid. And on my second job, I also knew that I didn't want that job anymore. I actually started my business during that job, but I still waited for my boss to fire me because I was just so freaking afraid to step into the unknown, which is understandable in a way. But I basically wasted more than 4 years, I think, in my life for jobs that wasn't aligned for me anymore. And intuitively looking back, I know that I would have been so much sooner on my soul pool business if I would have made that decision, if I would have really made the decision for myself when I felt like, yeah, this was it. Like this, there's just nothing more for me within this job, and I should just leave. And if I had made that decision, I would have been building this business that I am building right now, I think like 5, 6, 8 years earlier. So it matters. It matters in a sense of how fast you are getting to your desires. It matters in a fast how fast you can build the life and build the business that your soul designed for you to have. And I don't know about you, I don't really want to waste time, not anymore at least, on things that are not adding to that life, because I know the difference between building my soul pool business and not having my soul pool business, and how it feels every single day to build something that is aligned, that is from my soul. And i I would really don't want to ever waste time on not making decision and waiting for others for decide for me. And also, when you don't decide, you're basically fueling a self-image wound that's actually already there. So why we are afraid to decide, it actually has a lot of things that can go under this. But one of the main things is basically, first of all, we don't trust ourselves. Like, we don't trust that we have the best options, we have the capabilities, we have what it takes to make the next phase of our lives, to make the best, to make the next phase even better than the one that we had. So that comes from a self-image wound, that comes from an emotional imbalance of feeling like you're not good enough. It can come a lot of ways. That whatever you have, that is the best, and even though it's shitty, and I've been there, that's the best, and you're just not capable for anything more or better. Like, that's one thing. And the other thing is our fear of the uncertain. It's a fear of, oh, okay, I have no idea what comes next. And again, it leads back to this self-image wound of, okay, so I don't know it, I actually can barely do the things right now, which again is a lie. That's not true. That's just what we believe to be true about ourselves. And if I am barely doing the things in this version, how would I be able to do the things in the next version where it's also super uncertain? So the ego gets its way, and we get to sit in the stuck, meaningless job or the crappy life. I had felt like that I was sitting in like a stuck, not going anywhere job or relationship or whatever. And it's not a good feeling. It's really not a good feeling. And when we are fueling this with not deciding for ourselves and letting other people decide, we actually fuel the feeling of, okay, you cannot trust yourself. So we already have a lot of proof that you cannot trust yourself because you didn't really reach any goal that you wanted to so far. But you also cannot make a decision. I'm my ego right now. Like, you also cannot make a decision for yourself, which must only mean that you are not good enough to make a decision because you don't have what it takes to make a decision, right? You don't know what is good for you, and even if you do, you are for sure not able to fulfill that or make that happen. So that will actually lower your self-esteem. Every time you are not making a decision for yourself, every time you are avoiding making a decision for yourself, you are fueling your subconscious of oh, okay, I cannot trust myself. I cannot trust myself even with the decision, with a tiny decision like, okay, when do I give out one-on-one appointments to my clients? Because I don't trust myself that I can pick the right times, for example. So it's a slippery slope. And the other thing that it fuels very much is the feeling that you are not as important as others, because you would trust others over yourself, and you will go with others' decision over your own decision, which again means that, oh, okay, so if I choose that person over myself, that must mean, again, like this is the subconscious way of translating this, everything that is happening. If I accommodate myself to this other person, that must mean that what I want is not as important, which means that I am not as important, which means that I'm actually not important. What I want, what I need, what I desire is not important. Other people are much, much more important than you. And guess what would that do to yourself and to your creative field? And what that would project out is that you are not important, and people won't pick you. People won't pick your offers. People won't pick your business. People won't want to work with you as their first choice, because you are not choosing yourself as your first choice. And if you're not choosing yourself, that's not in your creative field, that you're the first choice for people, which would mean that other people won't choose you first. It all adds up, it all ties together. It's so subtle. It and that's why I just like really went into the deep of this, because it seems very subtle, like not deciding, who cares, like let the client decide, like whatever. But it has, I don't want you to feel that it has like crazy consequences, but adding up, if you do this consequently, if you do this every single time, if you do this, or I want to say, if you do this majority of the time, and it comes from the place of, oh, I cannot decide for myself because what if they won't like that, or what if they will leave me, or what if whatever will happen, that is fueling this cycle. That is fueling you not feeling good enough, fueling you not being treated as a priority by people, and that is actually directly hurting your business. So making a decision for yourself, starting to make like very consciously every single decision for yourself, is one of the best things, and actually the easiest thing that you can do to actually step into full power and gain extreme control over your business and over your life. Again, it seems super simple. It seems super, like, I don't know, nonchalant. Such a funny word. But it is one of the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself if you want to have control over your life. Crazy. Okay, the next thing that we do that is taking away from our control and our power is changing ourselves. And I talked about this a lot in previous podcast episodes, why that's actually very, very damaging for your business. Like, check out, I talked about, it was an episode about competition, I think. I talked in detail about this. I will link it in the show notes. You can find it there. But it's very, very damaging, because whenever we change ourselves, we are actually taking away from our uniqueness. And your uniqueness is your superpower. Like, the way you are unique, that is very deliberate, that is very, very deliberately pulled and created and constructed by your soul. So you'll be able to fulfill your soul pull, which means your uniqueness is the key to build actually the business that you want. We work with this a lot in the coaching, because that is actually literally the key to having great content, to standing out from the crowd, not having competition, etc. Again, I talked about this a lot in previous podcast episodes, so it's worth to listen to those. But whenever you start to change yourself, that goes away. And we all do that. Like, again, I don't want you to feel bad about this. We all do that because we want to be liked. We want to be liked. We want to be fit in because that what the ego feels safe. That what we learned to do to be part of the pack and to be protected by others, right? It's a very, very deeply ingrained biological need. And we would do anything for it, right? We would do anything to feel like we fit in, we are liked, people accept us, people validate us. So we do a lot for that. And part of it is is usually changing what is special about us, changing what makes us special. And what you can do with this, first of all, listen back to the podcast episode I did about this. Again, I will link them in the show notes because it will help a lot. But what I want you to do here right now is just, I want you to start to catch yourself whenever you are starting to feel like, oh, okay, I should change this because what if people don't like this? I should do this differently because this is too much. This is too loud. This is too, I don't know, extravagant. This is, I don't know, too something. Like, I want you to start to catch yourself and just like want you to be aware of all the ways that you are trying to change yourself within your business, because we do it so unnoticeably. And whenever you will, when you start to see it, it will be so much easier to change it when you have the right tools. But the first step is just, I want you to notice whenever you are feel like, oh, okay, I cannot be this different. This must be wrong because nobody is doing it. Like, I want you to catch yourself all the ways that you are doing this for yourself. And this will take time, and it should take time, and you shouldn't feel like you have to shift these like from one day to the other. I'm giving you the first few steps to make long-term stable shifts in your life and in your business. So that is a very, very important one. Start to be aware of where you are trying to fit in, where you actually would want to do something different, but then you talk yourself out of it because, oh no, this is too much. Or, oh, nobody done this before. Or, oh, but this is not how it's supposed to be done, right? Like, this is the things that we tell ourselves, especially in the business. Or when you feel like, oh, but this is how everyone else is doing it, so I should do it the same way. Those are your cues that you are actually trying to dim yourself, dim your uniqueness, and trying to fit in just so you won't be judged, you won't be canceled on social media, or whatever the manifestation of the fear is in your life. Um, we can check that too in the coaching of how that actually looks like in your life. It's when you have the right tools, it's easy to spot. And actually, like, how I am built is, for me, it's super easy to spot these for people that they maybe don't see in themselves so easily. But when you start to see the patterns, it's so easy to catch yourself, and it's so much easier to put in the tools that you need that will shift this, right? So that is the second thing that we do. The third one, how we give away power and control, is stepping over our own boundaries. And boundaries are a super interesting topic. I will definitely do a bunch of other episodes on these because I kind of have a different view on boundaries that I usually hear in either the self-improvement or the spiritual teachings or world. What I want to give here about, and what I mean by stepping over your boundaries. So a lot of the times what I see is the boundary. So we are super upset when someone steps over our boundaries, right? Like, and that's fair. You should be upset when someone, like you set a boundary, someone stepped over it. That's not a cool thing to do. But a lot of the times what really happens, and what we don't notice usually, is that actually it's not that people step over our boundaries, but we step over our own boundary and basically let people in. Uh, Let me show you with an example. So let's say you set the boundary that you are not working on Fridays. That's your boundary in your business. And then you have a new client, you have a new potential client who wants to work with you. And this client only has time to do one-on-one sessions on Friday. And then what are you doing? You like, okay, so just this one time, just for this one client, I am giving them a time on Friday. What happened here? It's actually, and that I just finished the story. So what will happen on, I want to say kind of the short term, is very soon you will start to resent that client because you had the boundary that, okay, I don't want to work on Fridays, but maybe this client only has, I don't know, like time after 2 p.m. So you still have to work Friday at 2 p.m. and all Friday all you can think about is, I could have this day free. I could do this and this. I could go, I don't know, have a spa day. I could go out and just like enjoy myself. I could meet with friends. And you start to list all the things that you are missing just because this client is on your calendar on Friday. And the conclusion that we jump to is not that, oh, okay, so we start to blame the client. Like, why was this client so inconsiderate that they only wanted the time on Friday? Because maybe what happened is you tell them like, yeah, I don't really do coaching on Friday, but maybe they persisted, maybe they really like wanted to work with you, but they really didn't have any other time, and then you gave yourself in, right? But what really happened here, and that's what 99% of the time happens, is that you said yes. And by you saying yes to their persistence, you actually stepped over your own boundary. That's how it works. So when you stop doing that, then no one will step over your boundaries anymore. It's that simple on paper. And executing it is a bit harder because, again, like a lot of self-image stuff turns on when boundaries start to play out. Like, again, feeling like if you can prioritize yourself, the wounds around money, like, right, if you say no to this client, then obviously it will trigger your fear of, oh, okay, so if I say yes to this client, I will lose the money that I would make with this client. And if you are in the place in your business fit right now that you really feel like that every penny counts, then it's much easier to step over your boundaries and say yes to things that you actually don't want to say yes to, right? So again, it's a kind of complex topic. It seems super easy, but it stems from various roots why we step over our own boundaries, but the end result is the same. It's not people who do this to us, it's actually what we do to ourselves. We step over our own boundaries. Like, it's almost basically you planted this beautiful garden with flowers and everything, and then you put the, oh my god, what's the word for let's call it a hedge. I don't remember the word. Fence. Oh, that's it. So you put a fence over the garden, and then what you did, you actually just opened up the garden door and let everyone in and let them dance on the flowers. This is what is actually happening. This is all the time. Like whenever you like set the boundary that you are not working after 6 p.m, but then at 7 p.m you are answering client emails, or you are answering DMs, or whatever that you are doing, that you are not, that are over your boundary. It's not that people are stepping over your boundary. People always will try to step over your boundaries, not because they are crappy people. It's because everyone is trying to do what's best for them, right? If someone has a question, they will write you an email to ask that question no matter what. Like if it pops into their mind at 10 p.m. at night, they will write you an email at 10 p.m. at night. Maybe they will even feel like they want to I don't know, pressure you a bit to get an answer fast, right? Because it's super important to them to get that answer. That doesn't mean that you have to jump in front of the laptop and start typing at 11 p.m. at night, right? It's again that you stepping over your boundaries. So what you can do here and what will help you tremendously is just really, really getting clear on your own boundaries and really just seeing how are the different ways that you can step over with yourself. Like just preparing. It's again like you don't have to have the solution how you will not do that at this moment. It's not your job. What will help you already is just like seeing, oh, okay, first of all, what the heck are my boundaries? Like just like getting really clear on that. What are your boundaries? Because I really see that people don't even know that. Getting clear on boundaries, especially with business, is key. And at this point, I don't even want you to get prepared on how you can step over them. Just like getting clear on your boundaries. And I will do, I think, another podcast episode on this, like how you can do that the right way, because there is a soul way to do boundaries, and that is an ego way to do boundaries. And in my experience, the soul way is much, much, much better and much more fulfilling with boundaries because it comes from a place of love, while the other is comes from the place of either resentment or just like tiredness or whatever. And that never really leaves a good taste in anyone's mouth. But just like start to get clear on, okay, so what boundaries should I have in my business on the day to day? And this will be the key, on the day to day, not like generally, because again, like it's very easy to step over general rules. Like very specifically, what are the rules? So for example, one of my boundaries is that I don't do coaching on Mondays and Fridays. Yes, which again shifts. Sometimes it shifts from I'm doing Fridays now, but I'm not doing coaching on Monday at all, like nothing. I don't even have appointments there. I don't do coaching before 10 a.m. Like that's my morning is very important to me. That's when I am most creative. That's when I am can like like very much focus on my energy for the day. Like that is super sacred to me. I am not doing coaching before 10 a.m. If anyone wants a session before 10 a.m., I'm just not that person. And again, a lot of self-image work goes into, I want to say the right self-image work goes into being able to say no to people easily and being able to say no to people without feeling guilty or without feeling regret or without feeling anxious of losing the things that you want. Like that is something that we focus on the coaching process and the coaching programs, because that's super, super important to be able to say no. Like setting boundaries goes hand in hand with being able to say no to people, and being able to say no to people without feeling the remorse and the guilt and all the things that we usually feel when we do that is key to be able to say no in a sustainable way and from a heart-led place. But and I lost my train of thought. But the key here is that when you have just a few, like you don't even have to set like the full shebang of boundaries right now. Like figure out the most important thing for you right now, that if you set that as a boundary, that will elevate your day-to-day life, that will give energy back to you. For me, that was having my mornings free. That was when I started with, or maybe I think I started with not doing coaching on Mondays. Like I really, really needed just one day to just like sort things out, focus on different things, have like a full day of content creation where I can create all my content. And it was amazing. It gave me so much clear headspace. And even though it felt like I am losing on money on it, on I don't even want to say in the long run, on the short term, it gave back to me so much energy that I actually made more money. So it really, really, really counts. So that is your third step, that you can take back your power. And the fourth one is, so how you may give away the power is when you're not taking radical responsibility. What does that mean? So radical responsibility means that you are taking responsibility for what you are feeling, what you are thinking, your beliefs, your self-image, your feelings, your creator field, and whatever you create with that. So basically, that is the key to getting out of victim mode. That is the key for feeling like you are a victim for the algorithm, you are a victim for other people, you are a victim for the economy, for the environment, for the country that you are living, for the whatever we tend to feel like we don't have control over. And you won't have control over the economy ever unless you are in a place where you don't really want to be. But you always have control over yourself. You always have control over what you believe to be true about yourself. You always have control over your routine, what the tools you use to heal yourself, the time you spend on getting to a higher frequency. Like you have the control over that. That means radical responsibility. And it also means that I take responsibility for whatever I create in my life with the frequency I have in this moment. And if this triggers you, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It should trigger you. Like I'm actually very glad, because this would have triggered me a lot a few years ago, but I was knee deep in victim mode. I was knee deep in blaming everyone else but myself, not blaming everyone else or looking outside of myself for everything that is happening to me, and not and feeling super powerless, because I felt like, actually, how my business is growing has nothing to do with me. It always depends on the economy, or it depends on the competition, or it depends on the topic that I am choosing, because if it's a saturated market, I won't really have that much success. Or if anyone else comes in who has a similar idea, they will steal my clients. And it's just such a tiring place to be. It's super tiring, because you are always looking out for the next threat that can take away what you already have. It was actually the same in my relationship. I was in the full, like I didn't take radical responsibility of, I am actually creating this relationship. Like I am creating my partner, not committing to myself. But I was like, he has the deficiencies, he has the wounds, he has like everything, and he's not ready to commit, and I'm good, and I evolved and everything. And a lot of that was true. Like I worked a lot on myself, and also he had a lot of wounds for himself. But again, the fact that he wasn't ready to commit to me was coming from the fact that I wasn't committing to myself in various life areas. Reflections are a whole other topic. I will get into that in future episodes, but it's very much there, and it's very much there in the business. So people not signing up for your programs is a reflection of you. It's not the truth about you. That's very important. So when people are not signing up, your reflection is, oh, okay, so what I am creating is not valuable enough, right? Like maybe that is the root of that reflection. Or you're feeling like you're not special enough, what you're creating is not special enough, or you feel like others are better than you. Like that can be a different thing with different reflections, different things that are happening to you. But when you are just like, oh, okay, so I don't know, people don't have money, right? Like this is what we usually go, oh, people don't have money, oh, the economy is bad, people don't want to spend money on things like that, or oh, the market is too saturated, like there's too many coaches or too many helpers or too many healers or too many whatever the market you are in. And when you shift that to yourself and shift that to, oh, okay, so I am taking radical responsibility here, which means that if people are not signing up to my programs, or if people are not watching my content, or if people, I don't know, I'm not making the money that I want to make, that means that I am creating this. Just as I am creating, like, just as you can manifest the good stuff, you can also manifest the not good stuff, right? It's not like we only manifest what we want, because if that's true, this would be a very, very different world. I don't know, it would be a better world. It would be a very different world. So we manifest everything, the good things in our lives and the not as good things, or the things that we wouldn't choose for ourselves consciously, right? So when you make that your own, when you step into that, like, oh, okay, so I created people not signing up, which means I can also create people signing up. So let's find the tools and the processes and the blocks in my creator field that is making people not sign up to my programs, to my products, to my services, and shift that. And let's see if people start to sign up then. And that gives you so much freaking power in your business that is unbelievable. Like, whenever something is happening to me that I don't like in the business right now, of course I I freak out as everyone else. I'm a human. But then oh, okay, after the freak out is done, which is basically like, I don't know, a few hours, then I'm like, maybe a few days. Depends on the freak out. Depends on the emotional imbalance started the freak out. Whatever. Then I have the tools. I have the tools to rewire my self-image. I have the tools to emotionally balance myself. I have the processes to build in the ingredients that are missing from my creative field, or unblock the unconscious, subconscious blocks that are in my creator field that are making me a non-match to getting more clients. So I have those tools, and then I start to use them and see how things start to shift. And usually they do. Like, I want to say 99% of the time they do. And the 1% is when it's not, it's that, oh, okay, I didn't get the whole picture. Like maybe my intuition was off a bit and I was emotional, like more emotional than I imagined, and then I need to look again. And for the second or the third try, I figured it out. And that's the thing, like when you are intuiting yourself, it's a bit tricky because it's much easier to be emotional for yourself than with clients. With clients, you are not emotional because, like it's not in a sense, like not your desires on the line, right? You can be super neutral about it, which is cool. So this is what radical responsibility is for. And when you step into that, and when you embody that, and when you start to, whenever something is off, whenever you are in a situation that you don't like, whether it be with a person, whether it be with your body, or with like a literal situation in your business, when you use that and start like blaming whatever happened, and then go inward, like, okay, so what can be with me what can I believe about myself that is making this happen? Or how, what is the subconscious belief? It's usually a subconscious belief. Uh, I want to say most of the time, but not all of the time. Again, that's why the coaching is super cool, because we go into that and figure out, like, is it subconscious? Is it conscious? So is it an emotional imbalance? Is it your emotions? Is it maybe a trauma that is playing out here? Like, there can be a gazillion reasons why how we are creating something. It's usually an emotional imbalance that we have about ourselves. We believe something to be true about ourselves that is not, and we are playing that out, and everyone around us is basically playing out what we believe to be true about ourselves. So if you believe that, oh, okay, I'm not valuable, then everyone around you will play this out by not buying your programs, because they will feel like it's not worth their money, canceling working with you, or asking for refunds because they will feel like they didn't get their money's worth, right? So this is how it will manifest in your real life when you feel like you're not valuable enough. Like, these are just a few examples. And the radical responsibility here is, oh, okay, let's see, how am I not feeling valuable? Let's see which life area I'm not feeling valuable, and let's see how can I feel more valuable so people will value what I create, right? I have a whole process for that in the coaching, but this is basically the gist for it. Like, this is the bird's eye view of how you tackle this, but there are like exact steps for every phase on how you really like build that in, and how, you know, how to figure out like which life area and what exactly is. And usually there are multiple emotional imbalances like fueling something. So yeah, those are the 4 things. And if you want to dive deeper into this, I have a free clarity call option, which is basically a free coaching session that you can book, where we can see, okay, so maybe from these 4, which one you are blocking yourself with the most right now, or whatever you feel like your block is. We can see like what are the biggest emotional imbalance right now that is blocking you from creating the business that you want to build, the have the impact that you want, to have the success that you want, that you are actually meant to be doing. Or what is blocking you to seeing, oh, okay, what is actually my purpose? And how to build that into the business, or how to make big success with that in my business, with my purpose in my business. Like, it's a super way to get started, to get clarity on what is your next best step towards a business that is fueled by your soul pull, which is your soul purpose, which will give you so much satisfaction and so much joy and so much growth. Oh my god. Like, business is itself is a big self-development tool, but building a soul pull business around your purpose, man, that's a whole different playground. So if you're interested in that, link in the show notes, you can book it. You can book a session. I really love doing those sessions, because it's just so, I just love to see the aha moments people have when we have these sessions, and realize like, oh, okay, it's usually very laid down in front of them, like the right next step, but it's just super hard to see for yourself, right? And it's usually so much easier when then they believe that what it will be. Okay, so that can be your next step. And I just want you to remember that you have so much to give to this world, so many beautiful things, like such a unique way you can contribute, and such a unique impact that you can have. And I really want you to experience that, and experience what your soul meant for you to experience, because that's what my soul is here for, to amplify others, and create a change with like this ripple effect. So go through these, see which one resonated with you, see which one feels like, oh yeah, I really want to make a shift with this. It really will make a big difference for me to make a shift with decisions, or make a shift with taking more responsibility, taking radical responsibility in your life, in my life, or setting clearer boundaries, or oh my god, what was my third one? Uh, or stop trying to change myself and just like see how I am, where my uniqueness brings me. So all four are extremely important, extremely powerful. See which one pulls you, and just like start to implement that one first. Don't feel like you have to implement all the four. You have time. You can do it the next month, or you can do it like, I don't know, feel into your time frame. Don't start to do too much at once, because it will just like overwhelm you and it will feel like it's undoable, which is not true. So this was this episode. Let me know if you have questions in the comments, and see you in the next one. Bye.